Sony has done a really good job of making things look easy when it comes to the console wars. They've done a really good job of doing that because, Microsoft has obviously shot themselves in the foot numerous times when it comes to being able to go out there and actually pull off the things that they're trying to do. Even now, right? If we look at what Microsoft is doing now, it seems like they're shooting themselves in the foot more often than not. By just some of the decisions that they make. And people will turn anything that Microsoft does into a negative, and that's just the reality of the day and age that we live in. Now, for me personally, it's not as big of a deal because I do feel like what we're seeing from Microsoft is a weird situation where, gamers are happy with what Microsoft is doing, but there's also stupid things that happen, like that whole story that broke that Microsoft was looking at putting ads into the gamer space, and people really freaked out about that. I mean, some of the ignorance of people not actually reading what was said, and I get it. I'm not a fan of wanting ads in games either because it makes it sound super egregious, like with phone games, right? I'm not a big phone game person. I've dabbled here or there. You're at a doctor's visit or whatever, you have 5 minutes and you go to play it, but then every 2 minutes there's an ad that pops up that you have to sit through, some loud thing. I've got kids, they have tablets and phones. So I know what ads are and why they can be annoying. With that being said, when you go into the situation where you actually read about it and it says, well, this is a way for these developers to make money, Microsoft isn't taking any cuts, and it's something like a billboard would possibly have an ad, which that stuff has been going on for a long time already. This is just, I guess, a new way for them to change the ads and stuff, sort of how we see when we watch a baseball game. There's ads behind that now. There's basically ads everywhere. So it wasn't as egregious as a lot of people were trying to make it sound. But at the same time, I definitely understand why people are upset by this and maybe a little annoyed as well. So with that being said, I wanted to get into this though because this is huge news by Sony, and we're seeing Sony make these type of announcements. And when these things leak, I tell you what, this is huge stuff. And it just makes you kind of wonder what's going on. So hopefully this is going to be something that a lot of people are excited about. So let's get into it. I'm Crap Gamer, and this, of course, is Crap Gamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice some changes around here, but that shouldn't stop you from leaving us a like and possibly maybe even consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me today. It means the world to me, and I just want to say thank you guys. It's pretty awesome, to say the least. Now, with that being said, if you do watch my video, spend any time with me, like the video. It helps the video to be seen, and it helps the channel to grow. So yeah, those are the two main key factors in YouTube, to be honest with you. And so it would definitely make sense for you guys to just like the videos for me. So much love, much appreciation. But getting into this, so we know that there was a big rumor that that Sony was interested in purchasing Kojima Productions or whatever. Kojima kind of shut that down in a big way, but that doesn't mean that that's the end of the story. No, sir, Bob. That's basically pretty much only the beginning, and we see stuff like this happen, and it just blows my mind that people kind of forget how far we've come in video games in such a short amount of time, and we keep seeing all these companies get bought out and things like that. So it's crazy when you think about the fact that we're seeing this more than ever right now. And like I said, it's an exciting time. So right now what we're seeing is it's rumored that a big PlayStation Studios acquisition is actually more significant than Kojima Productions, and we have some confirmation on this as well. The next big PlayStation Studios acquisition is bigger than the rumored buyout of Kojima Productions, according to VentureBeat's Jeff Grubb. Speaking about the matter on his stream, Grubb said, "If you've heard about the rumors of a big acquisition from Sony, it has never been Kojima Productions, at least as far as I'm aware. People that hearing this stuff, including me, never thought that was a name that was thrown around. It was much bigger than Kojima Productions." Obviously, the very notion of a big PlayStation acquisition is very much at the realms of a rumor, so nothing has been set in stone at this point, and it takes time for things to go through. The funny thing is, we heard about Sony buying Bungie, and that still hasn't gone through. It takes time from the moment that you're interested in these things for the actual deals to go through and things like that. So it's just one of those things that honestly is crazy to think about at this particular time. Like, what's bigger than Kojima Productions? Well, Kojima Productions isn't really that big if you think about it, but we do see a lot of these things kind of pop up and crop up from time to time where, some of these names come up that it could be something like Capcom, or it could be something like Square Enix, or it could be something like, a Japanese developer, because that would solve a couple of problems for Sony. One thing is they don't really have any right now. They have the one Asobo studio that does like the Astrobot games, but outside of that, they don't really have much. And so I think that this is something that a lot of people are probably looking to and saying, well, if it's not Kojima, then what exactly is it? And I think that bears some weight, because I also feel like Sony has a long way to go to improve like what the games are doing in their own home country. Like, we haven't seen them actually kind of nail what they were trying to accomplish in terms of the success over there, the way that they've seen it with, the PS4 and even the PS3 and things like that. So it really kind of depends on what's going to happen long term for them, and I feel like that's why we're starting to see some of this stuff kind of come into play now, and a lot of people are excited by the future of what they have to offer now. What's going to be bigger than Kojima Productions? Some people think, like I said, Sega or something along those lines. But this is the thing that I would caution. Microsoft is under tremendous scrutiny for a big buyout of Activision, and rightfully so, right? $70 billion or whatever. But that is a ploy and a play that even if Sony had the money to buy Activision for $70 billion, they wouldn't be allowed to do it because they're already in first place, and that would be considered a monopoly. You see what I'm saying? So even with Activision, Microsoft only moves up to the third place company in video games, behind Sony and behind Tencent. So Sony couldn't pull off a deal like that. So them buying a publisher, it's probably not super likely, as far as I can tell. So we'll see what happens. But to me, it doesn't sound like it's going to be something that they're going to be able to accomplish and be able to pull off. But you never know. Like, these things can change and anything can happen. And, it is one of the things that, as far as I can tell, Sony does have something planned, but we're just still in the waiting stage because we just honestly don't know what's coming just yet. And that's something that Microsoft, I think, is waiting for themselves. Like, do they have to wait till they finish buying Activision before they can move on something else? I don't know. I don't think necessarily they have to, but I still don't see them picking up a studio, another big publisher, anytime soon anyway. I think that would be kind of ridiculous, and I don't actually want to see anybody else bought that's a big third party like that, unless it's something like Konami, because then, like I've mentioned multiple times before, we could see a situation where we get games again from those franchises, and that's what I think a lot of us are looking for from a Konami buyout or something along those lines, is you actually get some of the games back, and that is the vastly important part to all of this. And I hope that we continue to see some movement there in the growth of video games industry and stuff like that. It's more important now than ever for this stuff to happen. So with that being said, I want to take a minute to say thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. If you do enjoy the videos, like I said, please like them, rack them up, fact them up, crab gamer them up. Crab gamer out.